Okie dokie. So, sorry if it's loud outside. We are starting our Q&A a few minutes early. The weather has been absolutely atrocious here. It has been raining and now it's cold. We had another cold front come through. I wish the weather would just make up its mind. Like, if you're gonna be cold, then stay cold. If you're gonna be warm, then stay warm. Just give me a few days of reprieve. Hi, milady. But yeah, no, the weather here stinks. Because it's no fun whenever it's cold and rainy. Hi, Carla. It's just been gross. Hi, Mrs. Personal Creations. Hi from Arkansas, Shanda. Hi, Christine. But yeah, no, just absolutely disgusting outside. Because I don't know. Yeah, I think that's how it is. It is absolutely like, okay, so part of the thing is whenever it's cold outside here, we're still humid. So what it feels like, even whenever it's 50 degrees, it feels a lot cooler than what it actually is. We don't have dry temperatures. It's always, if it's cold, it feels colder than what it is. And when it's hot, it feels hotter than what it is. I have a tutorial on this. I did it last week. So if you go and look on our channel, I did this shirt last week. Yes, Florida is nice. That's where I want to be when I retire, or even, it doesn't even have to be when I retire. I just think I'm going to wait till the kids are grown and then move that way. Because the nice thing about what I do is, I'm glad you're able to make it to alive. Yeah, no, we hardly ever have snow around here. No, you can ask questions on here. I try to answer everything as they come through, but sometimes comments come through so quickly, and if I'm actually talking about something, then it takes some time. I buy my vinyl directly from the manufacturers, baby. That's one of the things that, because I'm bigger, I guess, it helps. And that one Disney girl, what was the first steps to opening a business? An idea and nerves of steel. I am in Nederland, Texas. Marlo. But yeah, no, starting a business, that's the big thing is, are you willing to take the jump? Because most businesses fail within the first year, or within the first 2 years, I think it is. And on top of that, you can expect that you don't earn any profit really for the first year or so, at least. I mean, it takes time, especially when you're putting a lot of money into it. I don't do any embroidery, and our shop does not do any embroidery. That's the one thing that we really don't touch. One, embroidery is extremely expensive, and a lot of times whenever people want items embroidered, they want to bring in those items, and they're normally a little bit more expensive. And if something happens, which it can when you're embroidering, it's not a foolproof art on a machine. So that's why I don't really do embroidery. Just not one of those things I want to mess with. And the machines to do actually commercial grade are so expensive. And it's not like we don't have a lot of money tied up in equipment already. It's just, it is something that as I said, I really don't want to mess with. And someone asked how far we are from San Antonio. I think we're about 6 hours from San Antonio. I think that's the correct. Texas is a big state. We are Southeast Texas. We are about an hour and a half outside of Houston. We are very close to the new Louisiana border. One thing I wanted to go ahead and mention before I forget, we do have a sale going on right now on our website. that one Disney girl. Okay, so if you have 400 shirts to do, I would outsource it for screen printing. I mean, that is the easiest and cheapest way. I mean, you can make money and a local screen printer can make money as well, because the thing with heat transfer vinyl is when you're doing bulk quantities like that, the time to weed and all that is it's so intensive, you won't make a good profit. No, not 400 shirts. What did you mean then? Because it's hard, as I said, things scroll by so quickly, it's hard for me to adjust. Yes, electricity. People don't realize that running a heat press costs a lot of money a month. I mean, and that's one of the things, a lot of times when you open a business, you don't take into account, especially when you're working from home, what a strain it adds on your utilities, all that type of stuff. I mean, it's... I have a t-shirt guide, which I sell on our website. Oh, I see it now. It takes... So the t-shirt guide really helps, and I have lots of videos on what I do to help line up shirts. One of the things is I use my t-shirt guide all the time. Another thing is if I'm doing a multicolored job, I'll take and print out a picture and I will either weld, which welding takes, and it does exactly what it says it does. It turns things into one piece instead of multiple pieces. Attaching keeps it together, but it doesn't make it one piece. So if you have a cursive font and you just attach it, where those letters overlap, there will be cut marks. If you weld it, it is one smooth line. But I take and will, if I have a bunch of colors, either if I have a bunch of colors or if I have multiple shirts to do of the same thing, I will take and print out a picture so that way I can look at it, or I'll leave it up on my computer screen, because honestly, with the way my shop is, my home office, my computer's over there, and then my big heat press is over there. So I can take and pretty much... Gotta fix y'all. Sorry, I dropped you in a box. But anyways, so that way I can see what I'm doing. That really helps whenever you're trying to line things up. It's the t-shirt guide. Well, and the thing is, and here's something. Oh, I have an Alienware computer. But one of the things, I'm losing my pants. Sorry. But one of the things is whenever you're quoting a job, you have to quote in for mistakes. And you have to quote also that, you know, even if it takes up 6 inches worth of space on your piece of vinyl, if you have 2 inches over here, can you reuse those for another job? So you have to think of it like that. Like if I'm quoting, and I guess this is the best way to say it. Okay, so if I'm quoting a 36 inch, so a 3 foot tall banner, and the lettering on it is going to be, because you have to leave some room at the top and the bottom, if the lettering only reaches 2.5 feet, I'm still going to charge for the full 3 foot of vinyl, because yes, I can use it on my craft cutter to make small stuff. I can't use it to make another big sign, because the way that a lot of big cutters work, plotters, which is the technical term for the Cricut machines, it's a plotter. So you can't just use little tiny pieces on it. They don't have mats. You have to use like a big industrial size roll of vinyl. And our cutters that we have here will cut 60-inch material. So it will cut 5 foot wide in design. But if you're not using all that, you can't just rerun it back through, because the way that the rollers and the blades on them work, you can't just use a tiny little scrap. So you need to overestimate, because also in that fact, what if you have a mess up and they happen? I mean, we've had it happen on huge signs. How much do you know to charge for vinyl? I have a whole video on pricing out custom work, but typically it's 2.5 times the cost. So if you're using a shirt that cost you $10 and you're using $4 worth of material on it, you're gonna charge $10 for the vinyl, because that's 2.5 times 4, and then 2.5 times the cost of the shirt would make it $25. So that would be a $35, which typically that would be more for like a sweatshirt range. Sweatshirts are a whole lot more expensive than just your typical t-shirt. T-shirts typically will run anywhere from 18 or so to $25. But the more complex it is, the more it goes up in cost. And those are things to think about. And people need to understand, because there's always going to be, and let me tell you this, and I'll tell you this honestly, there's always going to be someone who will do the job cheaper than you will. But the way that I look at it, and I've said this many and many times, if it's not bringing in money into my store or into my pocket, it is not worth me being away from my kids and my husband to sit there. I'm glad you're able to make it, Jennifer. Yes, don't give your time away for free. Because let me tell you something that I'm realizing, and yes, I'm young, I'm only 36, but I have one that's already graduated, one that graduates this year, and then our baby is turning 13 in April. The times when they're little go by way too fast, and making money is not the best thing in the world. There are so many things that are more important than money. And I mean, this is coming from, I make a good living. I've been doing this for a long time. But on the same hand, when we didn't make a lot of money, I would still turn things away because that meant taking time away from my family. I'm hoping that makes sense. But I've also, and when the jobs do pay right, I've also been the person that will take and go and do my kids' school program during the day or whatever needed to be done, and then work all night to finish a job. Because that is one thing, let me tell you, your reputation in this business is key. And you don't meet your deadlines, that is one thing that will kill your business in a second. I have seen a lot of people close up shop because they couldn't meet deadlines, or they would make excuses. If you take on a job, it doesn't matter what has to happen, you need to meet the deadline that you said you could do it by. And typically you need to have it done early. Hi Elizabeth, good morning to you. You must be somewhere outside of the United States if it's morning. I'm guessing probably Europe, but it could be wrong, because I think it's late at night in Australia, because when my husband was there, I think it was like 12 hours or something off. Hi Linda, it's been a while since I've seen you. See, okay. See, I do know a little bit. I know a lot of little things. Maybe not a whole lot of big things, but I do know a whole lot of little things. No, I don't just do Bellin canvas. I also use Tooltex brand. They're nice and soft. I'll use Anvil for screen printing most of the time. Most people want cheap basic shirts, and if they're wanting cheap basic shirts, Gildan are the way to go. They're not my favorite. You will never really see me wear a Gildan t-shirt unless it's something I bought from somebody else, because I still buy, and let me tell you this, and some people may not realize this, even though I can pretty much make everything under the sun, we have access to screen printing, I have access to dye sublimation, I have a Sawgrass SG400 for my dye sublimation machine, vinyl. I'm glad you're able to stop by, Susan. Hopefully you'll have a good rest of the day. But so, and if I can't create it, I have an artist on staff. So I mean, the thing is, I can recreate whatever I want to, but I still will support other local small businesses or small businesses in general and buy shirts from them. Like the shirt that I was wearing in last Friday's video, I got a lot of people asking about that. It was like race, human, religion, love, politics, freedom. Is super cute. My cousin Brandell just started doing a boutique here locally in Nederland, and even though it was something I could have easily made because it was just white letters on a black shirt, I spent the money and purchased it from her, because supporting each other and supporting small businesses, women-owned businesses, minority-owned businesses is extremely important in our economy, because one of the things that you face is Amazon's going to eat us all up one of these days. Nobody really wants to get out and go buy anything in store anymore, and Amazon, they don't sell the products. A lot of other people, but what people don't always realize is there are other vendors. Like, I could take and put my products on Amazon, but then I don't make as much money, and two, you have to go by strict guidelines, and it's all kinds of rigmarole, because when you're on that marketplace, people can take and make things a whole lot cheaper than you when things are coming from China, all that kind of stuff. Do I drink beer? Typically, no. I'm not much of a drinker, and if I do drink, I like a margarita every now and then. I don't really like the taste of wine, and most of the time, if I can taste alcohol in a drink, I won't drink it. I just don't like the taste of alcohol for the most part. But every once in a while, I have a good margarita or whatever, but I'm just not much of a drinker. And those are the things people need to think about, because whenever you're shopping and supporting Amazon or Disney, which Lord knows I love Disney, you're not putting money back into your local economy or into a small town. You're putting it into a CEO's pocket so they can buy another vacation home. You're not helping, like, say Cameron, my little boy, go to soccer, or helping someone's kid go to theater camp. Whenever you shop local and shop small, those are the things that matter. And that's one of the things I will always preach. I'm hoping that even if I ever get to be a big business, that, yeah, it's just not one of those things that I like to do, is drink. Stutter, hopefully I said that correctly. But I hope that I always keep that mentality to shop small businesses. Yes, small businesses are backbone. You know, most people don't realize, and I did a video over this, how many that small businesses employ more workers than a lot of big businesses, because they don't care about your kid and you needing dental insurance. If they can get a robot to do it cheaper and faster, they're going to do it. I do have videos, Jonathan, on using HTV on an Under Armour style video. Shirt, they're just polyester shirts, so most of the time any type of vinyl will work on it. Where you have to worry is because in different countries, and you can buy the same brand of shirt, there's something called dye migration, and it happens worse with polyester. It's kind of like with the way that dye sublimation works. When that ink gets heated up, it turns into a gas, and it will embed into the fibers. That's why it needs to go on a white shirt. Well, if you're using and I've had it more happen with green than anything else, you can, even if you're using a polyblock vinyl, what happens is that polyester, the ink that's in there, is pretty much dye sublimation ink. So when it gets hot, it will infuse with the vinyl itself, and it'll change color. Yeah, no, I don't think I'd be in adult entertainment. That's just not my thing. So, and a lot of people don't realize how things work. And most of the time, I just ignore comments like that, but. Okay, so you barely got a Cricut maker. So, typically, you got to take it out of the box. I have lots of beginner tutorials on, laying out text and things like that. And then moving forward, if you look under playlist on my channel, there is a Cricut playlist, and there's all kinds of info under there. And there's all kinds of tutorials under that. Hi from Colorado. Yeah, Elizabeth, I get some weird ones. Sometimes I get some weird questions. Maybe I should take it as a compliment. I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it's weird. But anyways, one of the things I did definitely want to tell you, yes, Tanner Bell is good. I've watched a few of his videos. Hi, Maliver. I think I said that right. I may have just butchered your name, and if I did, I'm sorry. You got the weirdo. But one of the things, and y'all may not realize this, is I typically don't watch crafting videos on YouTube. That is not my genre. Crafting this stuff is work for me. And no, it's not to say that I don't love doing it, because I absolutely do. I mean, I spent a lot of time building my business and stuff like that. But this is not what I sit here and do to relax. So with that being said, hold on, let's see if I can. Oh no, I don't think you're a weirdo. Any suggestions on how to cover up a vinyl, cover up an embroidered logo with vinyl? First thing you need to do is rip it out, because if not, it's not going to look that great, because it will. Let's see, what other hobbies do I have? Okay, y'all may or may not know this. I love makeup. I do have a second channel where that is pretty much what I talk about. That, Disney videos. It's a place where you kind of get to know more about the things that I enjoy, because if I'm watching YouTube, I'm typically watching makeup videos or like Tim Tracker, because I absolutely love Disney content. That's why I want to be living in Florida. But as I said, I take and do a lot of makeup stuff. It is one of those kinds of things that I get to be creative. And I mean, if you haven't noticed, if you've watched me for a while, you will see me on this channel with some crazy makeup on. I have no qualms about color. I will wear blue, green. What do I think about being on Etsy? I think Etsy's great for small creators. But the problem that I've seen with Etsy is, if you have a unique idea, you're gonna get copied. I mean, over and over and over again, and someone's gonna try to do it cheaper. And to me, Etsy started off as being more of like a handmade marketplace. And when I get on there now, I see a lot of things that don't look like they're handmade, if that makes sense. Like, people are reselling stuff that is made like in China. A mud cricket, I don't know what that is. Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat. Yes, that would be nice if more platforms offered that. Where's the little guy? The little guy is in the house watching Star versus the Forces of Evil, I think is the name of the show. Caden's at practice for Shrek. We will be going to that on we'll be going on Friday. They have 2 performances at night. One on... No, I've never had an issue with vinyl peeling, but you have to make sure it's applied correctly. Once you can see the texture of your vinyl through your shirt, typically washing and drying is not gonna hurt it. I've got vinyl shirts that are years old that look great. But yeah, no, Caden's got performance of Shrek the Musical this week. Thursday, my mother and father-in-law are going, because as much as I love to see my kid perform, going to a 2+ hour musical 2 nights in a row is not something that I really want to do. Maybe that makes me sound like a bad mom, but we have enough family that we divided out where some will go one day and some will go another. So that way he's always got a lot of people there supporting him, but there's no need for me to go both nights. I mean, again, if that makes me a bad mom, I'm a bad mom. And yes, grandparents are awesome. Jeremy's parents are absolutely amazing, and they go to everything that my kids do. But we won't have, thank goodness, even if Cameron does theater, we won't have a high school level theater until till after next year. Because high school level theater is a whole different ballgame. Let me tell you. Let me get on my soapbox. Caden is 17. How do I design my SVGs? I use Corel Draw, and I have videos on that as well. But Caden has done theater, so we've dealt with this for many years. Nadia did theater, Cameron does theater, but he's just in middle school theater. And my bigger kids have done it at the higher level, pretty much all of high school. So with Caden, if you do not know this, my 17-year-old son has Asperger's. It's a type of autism. He does not drive. He really doesn't have a whole lot of friends. So part of the thing with that being said, they want them to feel like this is an actual theater production. Well, like Friday night, last night, they were at school till 10 o'clock. Friday night, they wanted to keep them there until 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, look, I don't mind coming to pick you up at 1 in the morning, but I need to know that that is the exact time that you're going to get out, because I have to set an alarm. I am getting older, and I don't want to stay up all night waiting for a phone call. And I don't trust my kids to just ride with anybody. If I don't know you and know your driving record, teenagers suck. And this is coming from a mom of 2, almost 3 teenagers. They like to push your limits. They will test you. They will do things that they know that they're not supposed to do. Now, Caden's not one of those kinds of kids, but my other 2, yes. But yes, Mickey ears are illegal to make and sell, because that is a copyrighted shape again. And there are ways that you don't draw as much attention to yourself. You can say mouse-eared inspired or things like that, but I still don't think it's right, I guess is the best way to say it. You know what I mean? Because it's not yours to sell. That's Disney's stuff. Now, if I think it's fun that if you want to make it for a gift and give it to someone, or if you want to make it for yourself. Yes, I have made all kinds of designs and things like that for school-based, and typically it's just wholesale pricing. Well, they can sell the fabric, but the thing with the fabric is, and a lot of people don't realize it, but if you actually look, there are agreements on it. Like if you get on Cricut's website and you buy a Disney SVG off of there, it says for personal use only. It's not something that you can resell it. And it's the same thing with fabric from Joann's or paper from Michael's. It is copyrighted material, and you can't just make something with it and sell it. But anyways, back to the school stuff. Most of the time that is typically screen printed merchandise. We make tons of shirts for our local school districts. So they pay for it up front, but they typically order large enough quantities that it just, I mean, that's what we do. And some schools will take and do a design. So we'll do the artwork or whatever beforehand, and they'll do pre-orders. But we also, one of the things we do have an agreement, that is if we do a design for you and not charge you for it, and then you go bring it somewhere else to get it done, you're going to pay us for artwork. Because when we go in to do those art, what is the best thin vinyl? My favorite thin vinyl is what I have on my shirt, which is the Deco Film Soft Metallic. I'm hoping that they come out with more matte finish colors. Because it is absolutely amazing. It feels so good on the shirt. It feels more like screen print. And I absolutely love it. But if I want a nice opaque white or matte finish colors, most of the time I'm going to use Thermoflex Plus. It is my favorite. I like how it washes better than Caesar Easy Weed. And it's not to say that Caesar's a bad product. It's just, Jonathan, it kind of depends on quantities. Those aren't really things that, it depends on the number of shirts that we're going to do, number of colors. It kind of just depends. Christine, what kind? It's the specialty materials Deco Film Soft Metallic. We do sell it on our website. But again, and I've told y'all this before, you don't have to purchase from me to make tutorials. I will still always do tutorials. The purchasing from me is icing on the cake, but I actually really enjoy this portion of my job. Because even though I'm really an introvert, and you probably can't tell because I'm on camera all the time, www.cuttin, C-U-T-T-I-N, corners, C-O-R-N-E-R-S, vinyl, vinyl.com. But I typically am very, very introverted. I don't have a lot of friends. I keep people at arm's length. So it's very weird because I'm outgoing this way. Yes, there is such a thing as clear HTV, but for the most part, it's not something that you're going to need. Now, where clear comes in handy is if you're wanting to do more of like a tone-on-tone look, because the clear is glossy. So if you're putting it on a shirt, it would make it have some shine to it, but it would still be the color of the shirt showing through. But yeah, I mean, clear is not something that you would typically need unless you're trying to do something more fashion forward. Like clear on black, yes. So it would show through the black shirt, but it would have a shiny black versus versus a matte finish. Because I mean, if you look at most fabric, unless you're wearing like a polyester or whatever, most fabric is, I know specialty materials in the Thermoflex line, there is a clear. I don't know if we have it on our website, but it is pretty neat. It's just not something that's really even asked for very much. But again, if you're doing something that's more fashion forward and you're wanting to have more of like a fashion line type of thing, then using more specialty stuff will help you set yourself apart from other people in the market, which is always, always important, because it's better to stand out than blend in with the crowd. Don't just do something because everybody else is doing it. Awesome, I'm glad yeah, so check that out. It's really kind of neat. But again, as I said, I don't remember if it's on our website or not. I cannot remember. Yes, I will always try something new. Like, I will test out different materials, what types of vinyls. Like, I will put heat transfer on glass, wood, you know, I'll mess with different types of materials to see what will stick and what won't. As far as crafting goes, I really enjoy doing painted projects as well. Sewing is definitely not my forte. I cannot sew to save my life. Like, we did a trip a couple of years ago. No, not a couple of years ago. A year ago at Christmas to Disney World. And I made Mickey head shaped pillows, autograph pillows for the kids to get signed while we were there. Well, one of the things that happened is I had to have one of the girls who works for me, Lori, she's absolutely amazing. She does embroidery and she sews really well. She sewed all the pillows together for me because, again, I don't sew and I can't sew to save my life. I'm sure if I spent more time practicing at it, I would get better, because let's be honest, when I started doing YouTube 3 years ago or so, yeah, we're right about the 3-year mark from when I started doing YouTube. I've always loved makeup, and I've always had a large collection of makeup comparatively. But when I first started doing YouTube, because I didn't watch back then, and I didn't know there were all kinds of tutorials out there, I really wasn't that good at doing makeup. Like, you can go back, and when I was just practicing with like blending and stuff like that, it was pretty terrible. But the more that I've done it and the more I've practiced at it, the better that I get. So I know I could do the same kind of things with sewing, but I just haven't. Because I mean, I guess it's one of those kinds of things that I really it's not up there on my to-do list. It's not something that I sit there and enjoy really to do. Now, I do like to do cross stitch. I learned how to do that from my mother-in-law. I am terrible at crochet and knitting, but I have an issue because like my mother-in-law, she's left-handed, but she does things with her right hand. So every time people try to teach me like to crochet or whatever, and I am a true dominant lefty, I don't get it. And sitting there trying to watch a video of someone doing it, even if they're left-handed, that just does not translate to my mind. I am not a visual learner for the most part. I like a book. I want to read a book to learn what I'm doing. And one of the things I will recommend, like if you're wanting to learn more about graphic design and stuff like that, getting a book is great to have because you may learn something and then you may not use it for a while. So a book that you can go back and, so Alicia, that you can thumb back through and then see what it's called, that definitely helps. So Alicia, you need to look and see what type of licenses that are needed in your state to open a business, because you'll definitely need sales tax, tax ID, those types of things, which you will have to check with your local. Thank you. I'm glad you like my shirt. I did a video. Anyways. And I'm wearing this shirt and it's so nice and comfy, which love does not stink. Sometimes it does. Sometimes, I mean, and that's the thing about it is you can be, because Lord knows I've been married for almost 2 decades now. I'm glad you're here from Canada, April Lynn. What is the book for Corel Draw? Typically, like, and mine's an old book because I've had the same version. Well, I have a newer version of Corel, but this is the only book I bought. And it's made by Corel. That's what it says right there. Corel Draw X6, the official guide. I'm knocking over Pikachu. I'm like a big kid, if you haven't noticed. There are literally toys everywhere. But yeah. And they're on a much newer version of it. But I think they have like Corel for Dummies. Yeah, see, that's the problem is everything looks backwards trying to watch a video of it. And like, especially trying to do stuff from like that. For women's PJs, I've done, one of the things we did a few years ago, and I don't know if I did a video on it or not, is I ordered some pajama pants that were red and green and white striped, and then the shirts were red, and we took and did monograms on them for all the family. Because now I don't always take and make our pajamas, but every year we always have matching pajamas. Like this past year I bought some Harry Potter themed ones at Target. They were on sale for like $10 for the kids and $15 for the adults. And when you've got a minimum of 6 pairs of pajamas to buy, saving money is always good. I would rather spend it on something else. But that is what we always do. We always wear matching family pajamas. But we're also that weird family, even as old as my kids are. If we're going to see a Disney movie, we're going to wear matching Disney shirts. When we go to Disney World, when we go to Disneyland, when we go lots of places, we wear matching family shirts. It's kind of crazy. Anyways, so it is 5:30 now. I need to go start getting dinner stuff together so that way I can go to CrossFit tonight. If you are interested, I do have a second channel. I have a video on heat bond too, April. But I do have a second channel, which is just Betsy Gocher. I do lots of makeup things, review makeup, talk about my keto and CrossFit. Whenever we're planning stuff for Disney, I talk about that over there, like booking trips and stuff like that, because again, that is Disney and makeup. Those are the things that make me happy. We also have a sale going on right now on our website. All of our SVGs are on sale for 99 cents. Now, when you go and look at the SVGs, it will be regular price on there, but whenever you put it into your cart and go to checkout, you'll see the discount off of it. So that's a really good deal because all of our SVGs are $2.95 or above. And there's a lot of popular ones like our hibiscus anchor and stuff like that that you can definitely go check out. And that sale will run all the way through Sunday at midnight. But I guess that's it. So I will see y'all tomorrow with a new tutorial. Bye.